Hey guys, Christian Goes Fast here, and with the new year coming to an end, I figured I should probably wrap up on the projects that I'm going to be finishing in 2018. Now, nothing's set in stone quite yet, and frankly, if something does change, or needs to change, it's gonna change. First off, the first project that I'd like to get done is the Bandit. I want to get the Bandit done sometime in the beginning of this next riding season. I want to have that done. I want to have it finished so I can use it to commute instead of having to drive my olds everywhere. Now, I've been told by the previous owner that the Bandit doesn't get very good gas mileage, which, if it happens to be the case that it's not much better or the same or even worse, then obviously I'm going to need to change and figure out something else to drive, because while I don't mind driving something that gets terrible gas mileage, it's kind of a huge, money saver to have a fuel efficient car. Now, I'm not going to go out and get something just fuel efficient just to have it fuel efficient. I'm going to drive something that's fun, but is still, you know, pretty reliable, safe, and efficient. With that being said, first, the things I have to get done to the Bandit. I need to finish up the brake work. I replaced the pedal and the stand that you put your foot on, and when I looked over the rest of the brake system, I noticed the rear pads were really worn out, so I need to be replacing those pretty soon, at least before I start riding it all over the place. I need to get those. I need to bleed the brakes, make sure they work completely for safety. And then I need to finish up the electrical. A couple blinkers don't work and the lights aren't terribly reliable. I just need to finish those up and get the wires tucked safely where they're not hanging out and, can't vibrate out of place. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. So, I need to do that, and then I don't want to, but I probably will need to put an exhaust on it. Those of you who've seen it, you would know that the last person took the exhaust off right at the header and took the passenger foot pegs off, which on the right side of it also serves as the mount for the muffler. I don't plan on anything too crazy, and I don't plan on making it quiet, but it needs to have something on it. So at least if I get pulled over on it, the police don't go, "You need a muffler on this, we're going to write you a ticket for that." Because even a fix-it ticket is a pain. But that will all get done within, I'm hoping, within the first couple months of riding season, so I can use that for transportation, like I said earlier. The next project is the Subaru. I've had a lot of people talk to me about the Subaru. It got into a front-end collision, and because of that, I was able to purchase it very, very cheaply. So far, I'm into the car for under $100. But it's still wrecked. I've been working on straightening out the front. I need to finish doing that so I can remount a bunch of parts and replace a bunch of things. Currently, I have the fenders pulled off, and I'm working on straightening those out so they at least look decent and aren't mangled out of shape. But other than that, I recently got in contact with a guy who was parting out his old Legacy, and since he wanted to get rid of it at the end of the month, just a couple days ago, 2 days ago, I went and I pulled a bunch of parts off. Now, unfortunately, I did not get any body panels to replace the front end, aside from a vented hood, which is a very rare part. You don't really find them in good condition. I've been working on sanding off the old clear coat, which has been peeling and cracking and fading, and I've been working on restoring that. So, that video is going to come. I also happen to get a lot of Go Fast parts from him. I've got a bunch of parts. I have new hubs, axles, control arms. I have new rotors, and instead of just getting stock rotors, I slotted and drilled rotors with upgraded brake pads. I have upgraded bushings for just about everything. I have almost a full turbo kit to mount a turbo on it, and then I also pulled a transmission by hand, which isn't much when it's a front-wheel drive transmission, but it was an all-wheel drive 5-speed manual transmission. It was big, heavy, kind of messed up my arms, shoulders, and back a little bit, but I've got it, and as soon as I get a reliable workspace where I can jack the car up and start pulling everything off that I don't need and putting everything back in, the only thing I really need to put it in is a clutch, flywheel, and a rear diff. With that being said, the Subaru is going to go from a front-wheel drive automatic crashed piece of junk, well, let's just say smashed up car, because it's not a piece of junk, it's smashed up in the front. It's going to go from a car that's been smashed up in the front and wasn't particularly any fun at all, aside from just beating on it, which is what the previous owner did quite a bit of before he wrecked it. It's going to go from that to something that is pretty heavily built and is going to look mostly stock. I'm super excited about that because I've always wanted to have a sleeper. I think it would be so fun to roll up next to a newer muscle car in a 90s Subaru wagon and have them look at you like you're just driving a boring car. Why would I even pay attention to you? And as soon as the light turns green, dropping the clutch and just taking off on them and completely just blowing them away. There's something about that hidden blade style of driving that I really like it. So I've got a bunch of parts. I have, aside from the turbo, the transmission, the hubs, brakes, I have WRX springs, which will lower the car in about 1.5 inches without changing the suspension geometry at all, or not at all. It's not going to change it very much where it would be unsafe or would handle weird without tuning. I also have an upgraded radiator for it. I have new doors for the passenger side because my doors have a big crease down the side of them. And I've got a bunch of parts that are going to go into this car, and it's going to make it really, it's going to be cool. And eventually when it all gets done, maybe someone who knew the car before will be like, yeah, I can kind of see why you did this, why you took the time to kind of restore and rebuild it. That's kind of been my hope. I took it on as a big project that I knew was a big project, but not a lot of people had faith in me when I first took it on. I started pulling panels off, started straightening things out, and they kind of started to see it coming together and could see that I actually know what I'm doing. So that's going to be fun. Aside from that, I think just basic maintenance things. The Olds it has an oil leak out of the oil pan gasket, so I bought stuff to fix that. So I'm going to be dropping the oil pan, regasketing it, and putting it back in. That should fix the oil leak problem. And yeah, I guess if I have any leftover time, we'll start work on the BMW. Well, I say start work more as a dedicated work. We'll get really into it. We'll tear it down as much as we need to, and well, I'll tear it down as much as I need to, and see what I can do about getting it started. See what I can do about fixing any issues with it. Um, I don't know if I showed you guys, but the back window in it is smashed out. So I pulled all of the old glass out, pulled all the rubber sealant out, and I plan on fixing that also. But there's a big triangle of reasons why nothing gets done. And that was a terrible triangle, but at the top is money, and on the bottom is time and either effort or motivation. Effort and motivation. What is up today? I can't talk. Effort and motivation. Anyway, that's just kind of what I've got in the plans for 2018. I want to get a bunch of stuff done. I want to keep making videos, keep surpassing predictions of my channel that are set by computers from some company off on the East Coast or whatever. I want to be the channel that kind of just says, okay, that's what you think of me, but I'm going to do this. So, thank you all for watching. Of course, there'll be more story times coming soon. New year, new story times, new everything. Format of the channel won't change aside from getting better as I get more skilled in videoing, editing, and kind of just the whole general thing. But once again, thank you for watching. Thank you to all those who have subscribed to me recently and have been subscribers for a long time. It really helps out, and if there's anything you guys want to see or any questions, such as why my light just went out, let me know.